Alright. You know, after all the fucking shit I went through yesterday, um, I decided to go through a peek at this program. We do actually have a database, and I managed to figure out how to go in and manually enter some data into it just to test if this thing. Because what was bugging me is why wasn't this thing throwing any fucking errors? I mean, it wasn't throwing any errors out at all. Except for those little boxes saying, "Hey, order wasn't fulfilled," but I expected it to throw some kind of error out like could not, connect to the database, but it was never doing that. But as it turns out, um, I had to get the con string. I misnamed the property in there, um, and let's see, I yeah, but I mean, I went in, and like I said, selected properties for the database. I don't even know if I could see the database yesterday, but I rebooted the computer since then. But I noticed this morning that the this database was available. So but I hit properties and went in and got the connection string down from here. In the properties for it. Let's see, where is it? You know, Properties and come on, connection string right here. Anyway, I went and got the connection string there and pasted it into this, into that, where is it? The settings here. But I had this misnamed. I called it com string, for communication string, instead of con string, But anyway, I pasted this in here, fixed that, and but basically the thing works now, thank God. So, but it still was unbelievable because I'd expect this to return some kind of an error saying, "Hey, could not connect to the database." I mean, traditionally that's what would happen. Like in my past programming efforts with databases, 15 or 20 years ago, you would know right off the bat when your program runs whether you're connecting to the database or not because it would cause a problem if it wasn't. But here, apparently, it's done on a, I don't know, operation by operation basis. But anyway, it still doesn't really behave like I would expect a program like this to behave because it's kind of underwhelming. But place the order. It says order 15 has been submitted. So, but I can add another account like so that was a red letter day right there for that order. Okay, but at any rate, then we can go and hunt. Again, this is still kind of underwhelming. I'd expect it to be a big box showing all the, because there's no like summary forms or anything in this. So, there's an account and, mark it as filled. It says the fill operation was not completed for some reason. Probably because I got to put the date, I guess. I don't know, there might still be obviously there's still a bug in it, but at any rate, it still basically works, so not quite sure what's going on with it, but I'm gonna have to, that it's not quite working for some reason, but anyway, it's kind of crude. Um, there is no order. Okay, this is one where I manually filled it in the, when I was tinkering with the database itself. I just wanted to see, because that was one of the things that was maddening, is there was no data in the database to begin with. And, since I didn't know what the hell the intent was of this program, for sure, I really didn't know if the damn thing was working or not. So I said, well, if I had some data, maybe I could tell if it's working. Maybe I could tell if it's retrieving something. But, still no dice. And then I eventually tracked it down to that connection stirring issue. So, but like I said, I don't know why this won't work. Not really sure, but not sure if I care either, except that I'm just glad it's filled or it's working. The stupidest thing. And that's what's, makes you pull your hair out a little more too, is that they buried a lot of this in the sequel scripts too. So, at any rate, the point is that it does work. So let's go look at the table and see if that any of that data was actually added. Let's see, view data. Okay, Sue and Todd, just added those guys. So yeah, so it's actually it's actually working from the standpoint of it. At least is actually modifying the database itself. So it is actually at least doing that, even though I can't fill orders for some reason. But and I also managed to go and let's see. I think this is the only project. Yeah, basically, I managed to go in and find a connection to. I brought, what I did is I brought in, build errors. Why would there be build errors? CS. Oh. But at any rate, I managed to go in, and I'm not sure what that's build errors is about. I managed to go in and bring in this Norwin database from my other computer. So, but it's like a 1995 database. It's an Access database. But I was able to use the Northwind database from that, and it still actually didn't have a problem really connecting to it. So at least I had that functioning. I still to this day can't access the one that I recovered following their that I get downloaded from the internet, following their directions. I mean, I know it restored it using SSMS, but again, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, I can't see it over here at all. So it's the only place I can see it is in SSMS. So I don't know what's going on with it, but anyway, at least got this older version. I had to download the Microsoft Office Access Pack since I don't have access on this computer. But from 2010 or whatnot, but still it works. So it's at least something. A little less stressed out now. Anyway, I think that's it. I see what the build errors are. I was screwing around, then I decided to go screw with that other program. Okay. Alright, no build errors now, so. But, yeah, I don't know, so, anyway, that's all I had to comment on. So, I mean, at least that, it's not this one, but this one worked. So, but just be aware, it won't throw you any bugs like you might expect. So, again, I hadn't tried this one yet. It's based on the Norwind database, and but again, I assume they have a slightly newer version of it than I have. But I might consider screwing with this, but it's based on XAML instead, which I'm curious about. But I mean, I also just I wanted to start with Windows Forms because that's what I'm experienced programming in, at least from 15 years ago or more. VB6, etc. Even though it's not been 15 years since I programmed in it, still I hadn't done any database work in 15 years. But still, Windows Forms is still what I'm familiar with, and since I'm trying to learn a new language in Windows, like C#, I'd like to stick with something I'm kind of familiar with. So it's, that's what the frustration with the databases was. I was like, well, that's a good place to start. I found these, applications here, and actually I was, what got me interested in
this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create. Okay, in this video, we're going to take a look at the database, which is going to provide all of.
Is what got me interested in it. But see, this is from like 2011. Because this guy was actually developing a whole application, a coffee shop application, based on a database. So it's like, well, this would be a good thing to learn C# in. So, because he was doing it, even though it was dated, I assumed it would still work. But the thing is, I said, no, I couldn't follow this at all because Microsoft changed how all this shit works. So, I just couldn't get it to work for some reason. I still might take another crack at it, but I think I created the database successfully. But the thing is that you can't use that entity data model or whatever that.
For the drinks or maybe other bits and pieces later on.
It's done
I'm
here.
just going to call my project coffee
sets up this
shop. Got quite a
project, and then he goes in here and does this.
Box where you get to choose between the various different items, and you are looking for, towards the bottom, a service-based database. Don't go for local database. We want really a small SQL Server database, and this is the one to use for that. Give yourself, or give your database rather, a name. So here we're just going to call that coffee shop database. Give it a meaningful name, and make sure you just capitalize that and go add. Here you get a,
and see right here, you don't have this entity data model anymore to choose from, nor does it even start this wizard. So that's what's strange. And like I said, I mean, we managed to kind of go do this after the fact, with another, with this separately, but it still wouldn't behave the same. So I don't know.
Window, and you've got two options. We're going to go for this one called Entity Data Model. The reason for that is this is going to automatically map all of our entities into objects or classes, which is going to really simplify all of the programming later on. Go next. Again, we want to generate everything from the database. There's nothing in there just yet, but I just find that the easiest way to work, so press next.
But,
hopefully, if everything's gone according to plan, you should see your coffee shop database displayed here. If it doesn't, just check that you haven't got anything else in that list. It should give you a name of a connection string, so here you can see it's coffee shop database entity. That's perfectly fine, and we're going to leave that as it is. You'll see next it's trying to retrieve the information. There's nothing in there, but particularly our data later.
But anyway, that's what he was doing basically. And here's the program he was
Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at the completed coffee shop application. We'll start by taking a look at the till, and if we open this up, this is the screen that the person serving would use to select the products, and here, designed to be touchscreen, the user simply presses on the product that they would like to choose. They can select between the different types of product. When they're finished, and press OK. The transaction. We've got the print dialog here. The user gets taken back, and it will do for a second. If we go back to items here, so I'm going to say that puts hopefully some toast there. Chips in here. Again, put in the price. So these are going to be £2. In other, upload, find the chip icon, and press save. So you can see that those two items are a list of the products, and you can see the images. They're a bit. At this point, has got the option original state.
Let's see, I thought this would be a great little project because it's fairly complex. Nobody else that I've been able to find after shitloads of hours worth of work does a project quite like this. So anywhere near the sophisticated, either they're not doing anything with it, just using a single table database or something like that, or well. They're not. Basically, that's all they're doing is simple database tables, and they're not doing anything other than really simple programs with it. Well, this guy's actually going through a whole application, so I thought that would be a really cool little tutor, and he was one of the first tutors I actually found on C#. But no, I can't follow it. It's been very, very frustrating. Because that's the problem. I still have not really seen any actual C# programs, and my programs are the only ones I've ever actually seen outside of little snippets, that these guys write, but I haven't seen an actual program, and so that's a little frustrating. Normally I have books and so forth I can look at, but I don't on C#. I don't have any books at all on that, so I'm really kind of in the dark here on code. Now, sure as fucking shit do not want to have to go through a bunch of goddamn console programming tutors on a fucking visual fucking language. I mean, that is the most retarded goddamn thing I've ever seen. Every freaking C tutor out there you see, spends like the majority of their time, on console applications. What the fuck good are those? I mean, this is a goddamn visual language, period. Like say with C++, I put up with it for a long fucking time, for like two months, okay, of console applications, just to find out that, honestly, Microsoft's kind of deprecating C++ for Windows, so I, decided not to really pursue it anymore on the Windows side. But C++ is a universal language, so it's everywhere, even in embedded systems, programming, etc. So I mean, doing it in text, okay, it's a little lame, but I can understand the point. C#? No. This was developed by Microsoft for what? Windows. Okay? It is a visual programming language. It is meant for that. And it's just as retarded, thinking about programming Visual Basic in a console. That is crazy. Yet I see plenty of tutors out there where people actually do that too, believe it or not. I mean, holy shit, what the fuck has happened to you people out there? These fucking people think that starting with console applications makes sense. Yet 90% of you guys would be way more interested in starting out with a fucking Windows application, because you know what? You can do the same shit in a Windows application. Simple form of the text box, that's the same as a console, but guess what? At least you're writing a fucking Windows application, so you're almost doing something halfway useful to somebody. Console applications, forget it. You're wasting your goddamn time. And these people waste your fucking time doing that. I'd love to see somebody actually teach programming like I learned visual programming back in the late 90s. I never touched a goddamn console, period. Learning any visual programming, not on Delphi, and not on Visual Basic. That was crazy. I mean, shit. I mean, even fucking C++ and Borland, didn't, generally didn't. I mean, of course, they did start that way if you follow the books, but, but generally, you jump right into the Windows stuff. Anyway, but, it's just aggravating, so, in any event. But I do wish I had books on it of some kind. This is just really frustrating not having anything but the internet to rely on for this. And like I said, I mean, I can probably dig around on GitHub and find some C-sharp programs, but who knows what they're going to do, you know? I mean, I'd like to see something that's not overly complex, but, you know, kind of like this guy's writing, you know, it's semi-complex, but not, you know, because again, I'm not a beginning coder by any means, but the fact of the matter is I'm still new to C-sharp and especially this .NET shit. I mean, I do not have any .NET experience at all outside of this, you know, so it's, you know, Visual Basic, you know, VB6 is what I used, you know, that's not .NET. So, you know, that was, you know, just different. It just worked differently. But you know, certainly C++ would be nice. But again, I just don't want to touch it. I sure as shit don't want to get into any MSC applications. Yeah, so you know, that's gonna make you pull your hair out. But anyway, enough said.